Hey guys, Dean Graziosi. Hopefully you watched last week's Weekly Wisdom, and it was part 1 of 2 about resistance. If you didn't, it'd be great to go back and watch it, because that was part 1, obviously. This is part 2. And we talked about how resistance holds you back. You're going to do something, and it's just that's something inside of you that makes you go ahead and check texts, or go online, or go on a social media, go to Facebook or Twitter, or go check your bank account, or go do something with your friends, or do something, go get a couple cocktails, or create something you're passionate about and it turns into a hobby. The resistance is there because of life telling you just conform, do what everybody else does, don't step out of the box too much. The resistance is there thinking it's going to protect you when really it's holding you back from being the best you possible. So this week I have a challenge for you at another level. I would like you, last week I asked you to kind of document what resistance you had, right? Is there a hobby in your life that should be what you do every single day and the money will follow because you'll be so goddamn good at it, right? So Mike, who's been filming me for years, I said, what did you think about this? He's like, well, I got that all the time, but how do I overcome the resistance? So here's what I'd like you to do this week. Not only look for the resistance, look for that villain telling you you can't, or stopping you, or teaching you to procrastinate, or maybe you have an addiction, and I'm not going to go down like I know how to cure addictions, but sometimes these things happen because we want to go this way, and we feel the resistance, and we don't want to do it, or feel that villain telling us we can, or society's words, or this limiting story. We just go, let me go here for a quick high, whatever that is, whether it's sex, drinking, drugs, work addiction, gambling, I don't know what it is, but sometimes that flow. So how do we get it and power through that resistance who stands in our way? And what I'd like for you to think about this week is be the observer of your thoughts. I've been saying that for years. And when you decide you really want to write that book, start that new company, start the exercise routine, learn a new language, be a better parent, and something's holding you back, identify it. Don't just get the habit of going, well, I don't feel like I'm going to go here. Because that's what we get used to, and our brain has this flow, and it's like, we're going to try, no, we'll go over here. I'd like you to stop in your tracks. Be the observer of your thoughts and say, okay, if resistance had a voice, what would it be saying? And write it down. And then I'd like for you to say, I know this is simple, we've been talking about things like this for years, is it true? And if you're not sure, Google it. Get some leverage. That's Tony Robbins' word. Get some leverage. Sometimes we say, let's just use an example of writing a book. I know how much resistance I had when I wrote this. This was my first book, totally fulfilled. Guys, I was in special reading till 10th grade. I didn't go to college because Mrs. Thompson in 7th grade, because I couldn't spell and I couldn't sound out words, she would tell me once a month, sound it out, are you stupid? I mean, those words ring in my ear. So I just always thought I was stupid and didn't even consider going to college. I'm in special reading, I'm stupid. I was judged by an outdated scorecard. I was great in a lot of other things, but I just felt stupid because I couldn't read. But when I was going to write this, do you know how much resistance I had? I put this off and put it off, and then I started reading other people's books. I'm like, oh my God, I can't read their books. They're so much smarter than me. Then I did the first version of this book. I gave it to an editor, and she literally said, I can't edit this. This is a 200-page conversation. You need to rewrite the whole book. I'm like, oh, there it is. I was right. I am too dumb. But it was all resistance with these lies. But no, if you read this book, I had a message to deliver. Yes, it is a 280-page conversation, but it's a pretty damn good one. But resistance almost stopped me. So what is stopping you? What resistance is stopping you from the life you're supposed to be? What if I didn't write this book? I might be doing something great, but I wouldn't have gotten my first New York Times bestseller and propelled me into doing these weekly wisdoms and real estate books and real estate education around the world, right? So this week, identify, give a voice to that resistance, write it down, and ask if it's true. And if it isn't true, then how can you listen to a lie? And if you think it might be true, Google it. Is it true that someone who barely graduates high school, who's in special reading, who has no formal education, who never took a damn class on how to write a book, who was broke when he wrote the book, it was just a transition period in my life, who never got a book published, is it true that that guy could write a book and get it published and it produced all over the world and be a New York Times bestseller? Yeah, it happened. Here it is. I didn't have any favors. I didn't have any friends in the book business. I didn't have somebody else. I wrote every word in this book. Now, I'm not talking about me like, hey, Dean's great. I'm just talking, I want you to see that there's more for you, and don't let this damn resistance hold you back. So I said that word about 500 times in this short period, but I really wanted to make an impact, and I hope it had an impact on you. I'm Dean Graziosi. Thanks for watching A Weekly Wisdom. Please join us each week here. If you don't have this book, go get it. If you're at deangraziosi.com, you can get it right up here for free. If you're watching us on Facebook or iTunes or YouTube, you can go to deansfreebook.com. That's deansfreebook.com, and you can grab this puppy for free. I'll talk to you next week.